Dow Bartling here, and I certainly hope that you are prepared for another brighter summer day. This one, folks, is going to be just a little bit different. You see, when I was preparing for this episode, I got so engrossed with it that we're going to need to break it down into 2 chapters, much like 2 sides of a coin. So, if we're all ready, let's enjoy a brighter summer day. Well, I thought today I might take a little bit of like the Andy Rooney approach, if you will, on some experiences that I had here very, very recently. Now, Andy Rooney, if you don't know who he is, I would say kind of a mentor of mine. Andy, loved him on 60 Minutes. His last telecast, he was 92 years old. So he just kept at it. I think that the older I get, the more that I think. And I think that Andy had some things that we could all learn from. And I think one of those was this, that it's automatic that we're getting older. That's an automatic. But it's very optional if when your feet hit the ground, and that's a blessing, then you do what you can to get better. What are you doing today, and what can you do to get better? That's optional. Getting old, hey, that's an automatic itself. But if you do that, then there is no finish line. The older I am. Well, what experience am I going to share with you? Well, I had the opportunity to go visit the family and be on the East Coast. And I tried to very much observe and listen as much as I could there at different opportune times, and not talk as much, but observe. And some of these things I'd like to share with you. Now, they were observations both going there, being there, and coming back. Sometimes it's very much, I think, a stereotype of individuals on the East Coast are, well, how are those New Yorkers or people from Jersey? Believe me, folks, they're very, very friendly. Very friendly. Found some very friendly people on the East Coast. Always have. Being a baby boomer and up well before sunrise, we wanted to get on the first flight home, which happened to be at 6:30 in the morning, which meant that the limo driver was going to pick us up about 3:15. Now, there's 2-hour difference from our mountain time. So we were kind of getting acclimated to that. So we had to get up a little early to be ready for the limo driver. And even that was an experience. You see, Joseph was driving a Tesla SUV. Now, you may have one or have one in your family. It's the first really electric car that I have ridden in LaDonna. And this was SUV, this Tesla SUV. Of course, it was black. You get in and it's got waters and things, and we didn't drink water there, 2:30 in the morning. But it had, the doors were kind of like, remember the movie, maybe some of you, the movie Back to the Future, and they had that DeLorean, and those doors opened up like this. That's the way the doors were. And there were no door handles. It was a button, you hit some buttons and then the door would open up. And there were no handles inside. You pushed a button and the doors then would close there. And actually there was a screen there, and I could see the screen, and it was showing on the camera the airflow of the air around us there. A lot of things there. So we're at the airport, and my one observation is, as there's more and more travelers, now of course this was during the week, I think there's a lot of baby boomers that are traveling there. And of course, a lot of us will be in this habit of taking the early flights and everything. And airports have changed. Instead of concourse A and B maybe being real close to each other, now you've got concourse A, and it has 39 to maybe 40 different departure points before there is a concourse B. And oh, by the way, concourse B is in another area where you have to then take a train to get over to concourse B. So it's not just a little walk from one area to the other. That being the case, and from time to time, LaDonna may need assistance with a cane. We ask for wheelchair assistance every time that we fly. Well, when it's that early in the morning, you have to go to just one particular station. And we've been to this station before. Well, however, it was on another concourse because at Newark Airport, with this particular airline, they have a new concourse. And we were on the new concourse side, concourse A. And so we get there. The manager was not there at the wheelchair station where we're to pick up the wheelchair for LaDonna. Now there were 6 ladies there, aides that push you to the different departure points. They were there, but the manager was not. My experience with that manager, frankly, folks, was they were definitely fulfilling the definition of the Peter Principle. Now, if you don't know what that is, go ahead and Google, say, business, the Peter Principle. And it'll tell you a little bit when I'm speaking of the Peter Principle there. Another way to maybe look at it is this. Think of the different stations in your life, the responsibilities that you have to others, to those you serve, and to yourself. Okay? Now think of this. When you prepare, you show you care. When you prepare, you are showing that you care. Whether that be your clients, your customers, whether that be your associates, whether that be yourself. Simplicity-wise, when you prepare, you show that you care. How much preparation did you have there? Getting back to this station, the workers were there. They were waiting for some instruction because typically in the past, you would take your boarding pass to the manager there. She would scan it, confirm that you're set up for a wheelchair, and then look at your departure point. And then that set the priority. The people there, the ones that were leaving earlier flights, they got the wheelchair, then assistant right away. Whereas if you had a later flight, then you were on the pecking order given there. But the manager wasn't there, and the aides were looking for direction. And we waited. So finally, I said, well, these people, because there were 7 people ahead of LaDonna and myself. I said, these people may have some departures very soon. So the aides going to put their heads together, and they just took, well, say it, basically cutting it down to the nitty gritty, if you will. Who was here first? Who was here second? And so then we got a pecking order that everybody agreed upon. And so then they start taking the first 6, and away they went. Well, we were still there, a bunch of wheelchairs, but nobody to push them. And we waited, and then, boy, here comes up the manager. Turns on their computer and this, and after about 5-10 minutes and everything, I couldn't wait. So then I go on up and I say, have you asked for more aides there? And the manager at that point seemed to lose their talking ability because they didn't say a word. So I repeated it, maybe a little more slower and maybe even a little more louder. At that point, then an assistant did answer me. She says, yes, we have. So I looked right back to the manager and I said, have you communicated this to the other people that's waiting here? They may like to know that you're doing everything you can to get them going. At that point, she left. And the assistant then kind of took over. And by that time, there were more people that were coming in. Again, my observation is, as more and more of us baby boomers are flying, one couple or maybe both couples are going to need wheelchair assistance. In fact, as I was later talking to Donna, I says, this could be a business. They have where you can escort a minor on an airline. Or we met a lady, not this flight, but a time before, she was escorting a dog. This person had bought a dog on the East Coast, pedigree line, how long, and she was escorting that dog to California, and then she would then be coming back as an escort service. I told LaDonna, I says, that could be a business. You escort us baby boomers from that and make sure that we're getting our connections. Real quick example, there was one group in which was the father, I think, and maybe a grandchild was with this, her grandfather. And he said, well, what is this here? I've only got my boarding pass for just this flight that we just came off. And he says, it's right here. That's the only one I got. And then she says, no, Grandpa, take your finger and go like this. And there's your other one. He does that. He says, oh, I see that. He says, oh, look at that. They give me 2 tickets. I got 2 tickets. She says, no, Grandpa, that's for the connection after that. We're all set. We're all ready to go. Well, again, we're in that environment in which we can be stressed out. We're in a little bit of confusion. We could use help. Might be a business for some people there to look at. Point being, I think there's more and more clients are going to have that need. And you need to have people that are in responsibility positions there to maybe write that down on their forehead. That when you prepare, you show that you care. Okay, that took care of this side. Now we're going to flip it over, and I hope that you're going to get the whole panoramic view. And then we're going to the next week, and hopefully you're going to be, as they say, glued to your seats for chapter 2. So until we meet again, I want you and yours to have yourself that brighter summer day. And I'm rooting for you. You know that I am. Why? Because we're in this together. Take care.